Hello, and welcome to Rory's Brainworks, where we get creative and see if it works. Today, we'll be doing another Dungeons & Dragons inspired rig. As you can see right here, I have chosen the Barbarian class to try and personify in rope bondage. And when it comes to Barbarian, it seems to be an exercise in minimalism. Why, you might ask? Well, let me bring up the player handbook. Barbarian, unarmored defense. They have more defense if they're not wearing armor. So I could have easily created a rope bondage rig that had a lot of armor to it, albeit only using the 2 ropes that I limited myself to create some awesome armor to it, but that just wouldn't be Barbarian. Barbarians are half-naked death machines, and this is no different. It fits her well. More so than the rogue. As a side note, don't give Marie anything sharp. She's a dangerous one. Speaking of dangerous, that's what it's like to practice kink without safe, sane, and consensual SSC. Safety. Be sure to have some safety shears with you at all times. You can always get a new rope. Can't get a new life. And consensual. Marie, I, and Crochet Rory are all consenting adults. Communication is key. Now, before we take a deep dive into this tutorial, we must first thank my sponsor, Knothead Nylon.
Knothead Nylon is the destination for all your premium nylon rope bondage needs. Easy to clean, water resistant, up to 1,100 pounds of weight load, and in a wide array of beautiful, vibrant colors, Knothead Nylon will slake your rope desires. At checkout, put in discount code RORY10 for 10% off.
I went with brown and silver for this because my immediate thoughts when it came to Barbarian, especially in this minimalist attitude that I had taken upon, was leather and metal. Brown and silver. That's what I kind of wanted to accomplish. I thought about metal when it came to a small chest piece, and then leather when it came to small pauldrons and a little bit of arm guardage. Some kind of decorative leather and almost tribal sense to it, which may be obvious with this front chest plate right here. I created this Norse tribal design. And as you can see, did a continuation of some of these tribal design along the armbands down here, as well as buckling. Half hitches create a very intriguing buckling effect, just something I wanted to go with. Small metal clasps attached to the leather. Now I'm gonna try something with you guys, because I had created these tribal armbands, but I'm thinking about having one of them be asymmetrical, one of them being actually a ladder going down. So let's see if that works. We'll do it together. We're creating art together. Let's go. So I have the ends of my rope right here, and then I have my bite right here. So what I want to do is have the other bite between these two, the nega bite. The ultimate middle of the rope is going to be centered on the back of the neck. Mostly because what we're going to be doing is we're going to be starting this brown base. It's going to go down the arms. It doesn't have width backing. The only way it stays up is because this is secured and then this is secured. So starting the first one in order to secure that one is actually rather difficult, mostly because you need to create counter tension with this one over here. So we're going to take that rope and just wrap it around the arm real quick. If you have a model that is flesh and blood, what you can do is just have them hold this side down while you're pulling with things around on this side over here. With Marie, it's a little bit more difficult. She does like to make things difficult. That is crazy. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take this rope and come down this way. If we didn't have the model holding it on this side, it would just pull this way endlessly, and it's a bit of a pain trying to balance that out. And we're gonna come down and we're gonna create an L just below this area right here called the deltoid tuberosity. It's where your deltoid attaches to in this small little area. You can actually feel it on your own arm, palpitate it, and you can feel that it feels a bit tender. You want to be below that because you don't want the pressure of the rope pushing down on that tender spot. It'll make the rig uncomfortable. So we're going to find the deltoid tuberosity and create an L just below that. I'm going to keep pressure with my finger right here to make sure that it stays in the right place. Now essentially what's going to happen is we're going to come up over the arm and create a knot to secure up here. Then we're going to come back down, back through the armpit, and secure this by going around it and pulling down. I want to try and keep some of the ropes towards the front so you can see a little bit of it from the front. When it comes to this particular rig that I created, seeing it from the front is pretty good and nice but seeing it from the side and the back as well, you really have to get a full view of it all around to really understand some of the more intricate portions of it. So let's go backwards a little bit. We got our L tension right here, and we're gonna create a knot up here. So we're gonna start by going, and then we're gonna cross around towards the neck. So we're gonna go underneath it. The ropes are gonna go, or want to go with it as well, which is very normal. So you can let go of the L because as soon as it wraps around this area right here, it's not going anywhere. I mean, it's gonna go a lot of places, and it's gonna seem annoying at first, but trust me, it's not gonna go anywhere. So once we've gone over, turned towards the neck and went under it, we're gonna cross over ourselves and then back underneath, heading towards the back of the arm. Tighten that down and then go underneath the armpit, around, underneath our L, and down. And that's gonna create tension right there. That, pulling it down, has cemented this entire thing in place. Now essentially what we've created is a bit of a pauldron, a bit of a shoulder guard. A small shoulder guard, yes, but a shoulder guard nonetheless. Minimalism, that's what we're doing here. One of the important things is right here. We need this for a frame. This is going to be the frame where our half hitch buckles attached to that go back and forth to create the tribal design on the front. Now let's look at the arm. We're going to be doing two different things with the arm. So we're going to be working with the short arm design first. We're going to be using the rope in a short, small pattern that doesn't reach past the elbow. This is significant because that's technically the shield arm. That's the arm that you would hold the shield with. We will be doing the long pattern on the other arm because that's your weapon arm, something you want a little bit more protection for. The short arm doesn't need a lot of protection because it's got a shield in it. The other arm needs a little bit more protection because that's the one swinging outwards towards enemies. Needs a little bit more protection. So when it comes to ladders, you want cross tension. The ladder's coming down and this way. Now we got to go this way to create that cross tension. So we're going to wrap around the arm. What we're going to do is we're going to create more knot patterns that we had on top. So we're going to go over, cross underneath, over ourselves, and go back around. Over ourselves, under ourselves, over ourselves, and then back around. This will probably be the last one because as you can see, I'm running out of rope right here. Over ourselves, under ourselves, and you can tighten that up pretty good for the most part. Marie has that pressure. Awesome. Now for the last one, tighten it up pretty good. That way you can just fit it up right here underneath this one and underneath itself right there. You can't tie it off, but the tightness should hold it down. There's not a whole lot of forces pulling it back this way. Sometimes it will come loose, but we don't really have a way to tie it off. When it comes to aesthetic shibari, not necessary to tie off some parts. Some parts, in order to get that look, in order to get that style, just has to be hidden underneath other parts of it. When it comes to suspension, kambaku, other forms of shibari, yes, you want to make sure that your things are tied off absolutely 100% of the time. But when it comes to aesthetic, if you're just going to be doing it for the feel of it or doing a photography shoot, doesn't have to be tied off. Most of the time you want to have it hidden. Ends should be hidden for the most part. Marie, that is lewd, and I appreciate you very much. So that's one arm done. That's the short arm. What's important to note is that we are still above the elbow ditch and the elbow. Any area with a high amount of blood flow, nerves, tendon, ligament, lymphatics, you want to avoid compressing. So we'll do the same on this side, changing nothing about it until we get to this ladder right here. So we're going to come down. We're going to be below the deltoid tuberosity over here. Going to make our L. We're going to come up. We're going to go underneath towards the neck. We're going to then cross over ourselves and then underneath, heading back towards the back of the armpit. Give that a good tighten. So underneath the armpit towards the front. We're going to go underneath our L and put tension down. There we go. That is now secured and in place. Both sides are. So this is our long arm, and we're going to do a simple ladder pattern. Ladder patterns are basically cross tension. We did the same thing on the other side, but with a little bit of a knot, a loopy knot. So we came down, went back towards the arm with that L. This time we're going to come down and go towards the front. Wrap around, ensure that your ropes are straight, and make our way down. The reason we went the opposite way this time is because for the next one, we're going to go back and do the same pattern. If we continue to do the same pattern, it's going to continually push it back and back and back and back around the arm. And that might be something you want to do, but for me, I want to keep the rope centered on this plane. So one L will go towards the back, the next L will go towards the front. This L will go towards the back, And the next L will go towards the front. So actually coming down this way, I realized that I don't have enough to make one last one of those. So what I'm gonna do is start going around and I'm gonna tie it off in the back here. So I'm gonna push it underneath, and I have been doing it relatively tightly, checking in with Marie. And then we're just gonna wrap around. Actually, we can have one wrap around and one come up this way, and you can tighten it that way. And then hide your evidence. Try and hide these as best as possible for aesthetic reasons. You want it to look nice. There we go. Do wish I had more room in that long arm, but alas, poor Yorick, I knew him well. I mean, I ran out of rope. You can see what we're working with right now. That is the base. We got our short arm with that design. We got the long arm with that design. Shield arm, weapon arm. Now let us brandish our clasps and the tribal pattern right there. Once more, I am using the Nega Bite. So on this end of the rope, we have the actual bite, and on the other end of the rope, we have the ends of the rope. And what we're going to do is we're going to create half hitches on this area, buckling. And without trying to move the position of the rope, sometimes you can hold your hand back here to make sure it doesn't move. We're going to go underneath it, and then we're going to flip that over. We're going to put our rope through there, and then we're going to cycle and tighten that bad boy up. I'm just going to hold that in place. We'll do the same thing on the other side. We want it to connect right here. We're going to send it underneath, create a loop, flip the loop over, go through that. Half hitches, simple and easy, just like Rory. High five. Where's your hand? There he is. Ah, high five. And one of the important things I want to note is that when it comes to half hitches, you'll have an outside and an inside. This can be done the other way, where I can have this part be the inside, fold over, and this be on the outside. But our purpose is to keep this on the inside. What we're going to do is we're going to cross over and we're going to create 2 half inches, utilizing the information that I just told you. So these are going to be on the outside, and we want to loop it to where it goes on the inside. I'll show you thusly. How dare you? You go over there. So I could mimic the half hitch I did just then, but that would leave this end on the outside, and I want it to be on the inside. So we're going to go the opposite way. So I'm going to put that loopy through, making sure that my end is up here. Flip over and go through that. Tighten it a little bit, but not all the way. Same thing on this side. I could mimic it, but that's not where I want to go. I want to go the other way. So my loop is in there like so. We're going to pull that loop over and go through it. Now I'll tighten that one a little bit more. These 2 fibers right here are going to be slightly loose. That's good, because we're going to be doing designs here, and that allows us to pull and expand on the design a bit. When it came to creating this design, I didn't really look at anything. I just kind of went for it. Sometimes you got the ropes out on marine, you're just tying things. Just tying weird things, why not? So when we're coming back this way, we're going to cross over our old selves, wrap around, go underneath, and we're gonna cross over ourselves underneath this one. Then we're gonna go back over and underneath this way. So keep in mind the X where these 2 crossed over each other. That's going to be important. Now I've kept this side a little bit more loose, and I want it to be a bit loose, mostly because we're going to be utilizing this loop right here, but also, as of right now, you can see the general design. At this point where it is, you can see how to get this design that we're doing. So that way, we have a roadmap for this next rope right here. We're going to be doing this, but opposite. So when it comes and crosses over, instead we're going to cross under, which is what I already got going on right here. I'm crossing under back towards the arm. So I'll go over this one, under and over. What goes over must go under. So saith the Rory. Ah, yeah. The classic choir. And you can see in total opposite what we are currently doing. Under, over, over. We will then under and over back this way, which gives us back to this X pattern right here. This rope on the left side started out going under, and it will remain doing so. So it was under, and then it'll be under again, creating the good X pattern that we have going on right here. So now we'll just put it through the holes. So if this rope just went under, that means we're gonna go over and then through this one. It's actually easier to grab your ends. Go over and then under. Cool. Still gonna keep that loose. Do the same thing on the other side. Since we crossed over, now we got to go under, through, and over. Now it's all about adjusting it to you get the design that you really want out of it, which mostly just involves tightening. How much you want to tighten, well, that's on you. When it comes to these loops right here, I like to loop them down this way. It kind of looks like ram's horns to me. That was one of the things I was going for it. Bull rushing, ram's horns, charging forward. That smells very barbarian to me. Now, important, you have maybe 3 feet of rope on either side. This is a great opportunity to give you homework rope. What do you want to do with these ropes? Now, I'll just show you what I end up doing with it, but either way, it's a good time for you to express yourself and try and come up with something. Did you want to wrap around and then come around, do an X, come back up through the pattern? To me, I wanted to add emphasis to these areas of the pauldrons. They look a bit bare. I want from here down to be what they are, but here over, have a little bit of extra design to that. So instead of showing you how I'm going to get to the end result of what I did with my homework ropes, I'm just going to do it, show you the end result, and then you can try and backwards engineer it. Over the course of this YouTube channel, I've tried to give you most of the tools to figure out how I think and how to express yourself with aesthetic rope bondage. I feel like backwards engineering is a really great way of understanding for yourself how to create something. Seeing something and going, okay, I've been given tools. Can I utilize those tools to recreate what has been done? That way, not only can you do that with my things, you can do it with other things. Because I want you to become your own independent aesthetic rope bondage rigger. It's fun to do the things I do, but it's even more fun to create your own designs. All right, speed up time. I'll see you on the other side. And there we have it. Simple and effective. There's a bit of my homework adding to the pauldron, the back to the other side, and the back in general. When we think of the back, usually there are long lines going up and down and left to right, but we don't. We just have some of the major strappage going on up here, the back of the neck, and at the beginning of the thoracic vertebrae, which is why I wanted to bring it up so I could pull it down a little bit. All of the tension on this is cross tension, both between sides and cross tension between ropes on top of each other. Sometimes you have to think outside the normal lines that you usually create for these sorts of rigs. Because when you do, you end up getting something minimalist and fun. Well, hey, I hope you had a wonderful time learning from that tutorial as much as I did teaching it to you. Marie has decided that she was going to gallivant and barbarianize the neighborhood by extorting our neighbors for protection money. No, she never gets away with anything. It's like she likes to be caught. Well, I would be remiss if I did not bring up my other sponsors today, the lovely people over at Patreon. That's patreon.com/Rory's Brainworks, just like this YouTube channel. They are my rope vanguard, my colonizers of dreams, and without them, these rope endeavors would be way harder to accomplish. Thank you for spending your time with me. Be sure to like this video, subscribe to this madness, and comment down below what kind of rope bondage things you would like me to teach you. As always, I'm Rory. This is our brain. I'm fairly certain it works. Be safe and go create some art.